Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ASP.NET MVC framework and the various post scenarios that it provides us. It is very common to have or to want to have a single route that will become both an HTTP GET as well as an HTTP POST. And with the ASP.NET MVC framework, you can do this very easily and very efficiently with only one line of code. There's also the scenario where you may have a controller action that is of one name, but the route of another name. And you don't want to necessarily change your routes, and you don't want to necessarily change your controller action because maybe you have a lot of code dependent, and you want that one route to map to the other controller action. And this is also pretty easily done within the MVC framework. So I thought I'd take a look at that today and show you how to do it. Let's get started. We have a form here. It's pretty straightforward. It's got a username and password, and when they click login, it'll do something. And here's the HTML for it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. By default, when I want to display the screen, it hits my index action. But when I click the submit button, actually I want it to go to index as well. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new controller action. And my form has a username and password on it, so I need to make sure I pass those in on the parameter. And we're going to go ahead and have this re-render the index view. Now, if I try to run this as it is right now, you'll see that it actually will error out. Because it tells me its current request for index is ambiguous because there's multiple actions, so it doesn't know what to do. Well, the easiest way to take care of this is to use the AcceptVerbs attribute. And I can say this is the get. I can come down here and I can say this is the post. And now if I rerun this, it should know which controller action to hit, and it does. It comes to the get first. And if I provide some data and click login, it'll go to the post, and you'll see my username and password are populated. Well, that's pretty cool and pretty powerful. But what happens if I've come along and I realize that I've created everything and I don't want this to go to index? Right? I'm actually trying to log in. And wouldn't it make more sense for maybe the controller action that's being called to go to say login? So why don't I just change this? Well, by doing that, I've now got to go through and change my HTML here to say login. Well, in my scenario, that's pretty easy and pretty straightforward because I've only got one form routing, making the call to this controller action. But what if I've got multiple forms all over the place? That's just too painful, don't want to do it. So what I can do is I can use another attribute called ActionName, and we'll call this index. And what this ActionName attribute does is it will actually remap a route that is headed for index to my login. Let's give this a run and see what happens. Oh, it's telling me I've got an ambiguous controller action. I've only got one controller action that has a name login and one that has a name index. However, because I've got an action name, it actually thinks that this is the controller action name, is that index. So I need to come over here and make sure that I put that this accepts verbs and create that as a post. And now I should be able to rerun this. And it should work just fine. There you go, there's my view. And I can provide data here, click login. And even though I'm going to the index route, it actually will map to my login control action, and I can bounce over that. So you've seen pretty quickly how with a few attributes, I can manipulate the routes and the controller action that those routes call and how they're affected. The adding of the AcceptVerbs attribute, where you can do, same controller action handles a get or a post independently, is a pretty powerful feature. That now you don't have to start creating all these different routes, because maybe after login, actually I want it to go to a members area page. So maybe I just create the controller action as login and create another controller action called members area, and it bounces straight to there. And then by having the ability to remap a controller action in one place by giving an attribute, saves me the energy of having to go through my entire application and find all the places that actually route to this one control action, I can just override it right here. Keep in mind that when you do override it, if it matches another controller action, you'll need to specify the action verb, which is post or get. And if you've already got a post or get, well, you're not going to be able to do that. You'll be out of luck. So I hope you've seen that this is pretty easy, pretty powerful, and hope you learned something. Till next time.